Welcome to SOS Media, your number one source of the latest news, opinions, and in-depth investigations that dig deeper into today's developing stories around the globe. We still recall that a letter to the Department of Justice and motion submitted by R. Kelly's defense outlined illegal and unauthorized access to information, which led to federal witness tampering and leaked emails by a Federal Bureau of Prisons employee. Jennifer Bonjean's Exhibit A was a defense motion for production of an investigation. According to the Rand B. King's legal counsel, the Bonjean Law Group, the R. Kelly trial has been peppered with dreadful breaches of foundational judicial principles and biased media coverage. In Bonjean's motion requesting for the production of the concealed investigation into the BOP officers' matter, as well as letters to Department of Justice Inspector General, Bonjean described these judicial failures that drastically affected R. Kelly's case but unfortunately ignored by the sitting judge. R. Kelly, through his lead attorney Jennifer Bonjean, expressed his concerns over privacy leaks which Judge Ann Donnelly decided to ignore and proceeded with the trial, never giving R. Kelly the opportunity to be fully informed about his then ineffective counsel. Since the trial, Sylvester Kelly has spoken out against what he describes as a miscarriage of justice and barefaced dishonesty exhibited in all his cases. This confidential R. Kelly information was subsequently leaked to YouTube blogger Tasha K, who then broadcasted the partial and illegally obtained information, while privately passing information to government prosecutor's star witness in the New York case. But that's just the icing on the cake, considering the fact that this same BOP officer accessed private information on 153 instances, as well as more than 60 other BOP officers accessing information with no known purpose or use for it. Throughout this whole ordeal, the most crucial point in highlighting the federal interference caused by the YouTube blogger Tasha K is the fact that she closely worked with many of these bad act witnesses, for YouTube content and behind the scenes influencing other witnesses involved in the case, which most of us can say appeared to be intimidation and coercion. These actions, among others, undoubtedly played a negative role in the R. Kelly trial, and considering one of the first things done by Bonjean was a separation of the entire defense team, it should also be obviously evident that the ineffective counsel also played a role as well. We all know that in the United States of America, you should be innocent until proven guilty, but unfortunately for some, it's guilty until proven innocent, Ian Sampson Gray said. Prosecutors were allowed to take blown-up stories and abuse the use of immunity deals that enabled alleged criminals to continue roaming the streets, and present a circumstantial case already tried in the court of public opinion with the overkill of defamatory and biased media coverage. Now, considering many can't distinguish the corruption in both the New York trial and here in Chicago, it's also worth mentioning that the coercion and incentive being offered to the star witnesses, including the alleged infamous girl from the tape in R. Kelly's 2008 trial, who had a $14 million motive to change previous testimony requiring an immunity deal. It is amusingly kind of strange for a victim to need immunity, yet the media would rather run with the lie that the king of R&B obstructed justice, than to shine light on the obvious shakedown and extortion of one of the greatest artists ever. Such stories are worth publishing for their work as prudent notice to the general public to extend opportunities in spreading awareness to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Prisons corruption that not only affected R. Kelly, but possibly many other inmates who never had a fighting chance with a proper legal defense. Now, it becomes very clear every other day how people around R. Kelly have been manipulated, and some envious of him when you have characters intentionally setting him up, such as disgruntled parents and former employees. Just like with the first trial, with all the extensive media coverage and slanderous blogging, it poses challenges with the defense and the hopes of R. Kelly receiving a fair trial. These levels of doubt are multiplied especially when you have corrupt attorneys using the media as leverage, to further taint the case, leaving any evidence mentioned questionable. Cook County Prosecutor Kim Foxx and Senator Kamala Harris, who got buried in the Time Is Up campaign against R. Kelly, have both showed that they cannot be trusted, and it would be hard to believe that they are committed to fulfilling their political agendas. Red flags should be raised once you consider the facts surrounding the corruption of the case against R. Kelly, including but not limited to most prosecutors. It should be no surprise that Tina Chin was a big advocate for the Time's Up movement, and had no problem calling in a favor for Kim Foxx to reconsider the case against Jussie Smollett. Her text messages and emails reveal the tone of misconduct carried out by Kim Foxx. One would be right to keep wondering about how you can take any of the allegations serious yet led by a convicted extortionist using witnesses who can't even keep their stories straight. We all probably know that Michael Avenatti could have used Geronda Pace as the alleged victim in the video to present to Kim Foxx, considering the misleading posts that emerged over social media. Making an allowance for the fact that it was election season, it would not be hard to believe the political individuals involved intended to secure their position in guaranteeing the unfortunate conviction of R. Kelly. Can you really ignore the strange connections of some political figures with the judge presiding over the cases? I personally don't think so, for it would appear that R. Kelly would make the perfect distraction to keep the focus off the weirdos calling the shots. Just imagine slowly but surely working your way back to the top, despite being plagued by a history of unfounded slanderous allegations led by your former disgruntled employees. It would appear from the beginning of R. Kelly's career up until now that each manager he had nailed him over. From Demetria Smith stealing from him to a variation of UCC filings against him, R. Kelly has had his hands full dealing with living the celebrity life while dealing with ongoing crystal-clear betrayals. R. Kelly's former wife Andrea Kelly went from supporting him and encouraging others to do the same, to claiming to also be a victim. I find it hard to swallow with all the allegations waged against R. Kelly. His wife would also accuse him of abuse, continue to support him publicly, and then interestingly turn around with such outrageous and deliberate contradicting statements. Considering the fact that Andrea had been around R. Kelly since at least 1994, she should have been able to confirm any truth to the Aaliyah and the tape scandals. Instead, she avoids those questions, and no one pushes the issue that if what she now claims is true, she would have to be just as guilty as she claims R. Kelly is. Andrea leaves out the things she was willing to do to be the wifey as she presents this wholesome image on the surviving R. Kelly docuseries. We shall definitely give you more of these daylight betrayals in our part 2 of this story. Meanwhile, we know that R. Kelly is unfortunately currently being held at a federal prison in Granville County at the Federal Correctional Institute in Butner. R. Kelly, through her attorney Jennifer Bonjean, appealed both his New York and Illinois sentences, and the appeal processes are currently ongoing. With an articulate lawyer as Bonjean, we hope all the misinterpretations of the law, the injustices that have marred the trials, and the unfaithfulness exhibited by most of the witnesses will bear a bearing in revealing the truth and innocence. We would love to see R. Kelly regain his deserved freedom, get back to the family, and also hope that he gets back to the studio to give us the best of music as he has always done. Thank you for watching today's video, brought to you by SOS Media. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our videos. Also remember to leave your comment about today's topic in the comment section below.